Right guys, just a small video on how to make my infamous honey and French mustard sauce, which goes over the top of a piece of beef, and then the sauce and the juices then become gravy after which gives you a very rich, sweet tasting gravy. Any size meat, jar of honey and some French mustard, the grainy stuff, the whole grain stuff, and then we go from there. So what we need is either a small bowl or maybe a cup just to stick your honey in. Get your honey and a couple of big dollops of honey which go into the cup, and this is going to create the sticky sauce which goes over the top of the beef. You can also do this for pork. You could make a similar sauce to do with lamb. And depending on the size of your joint of beef, your silver side, top side, then obviously you need to make the sticky sauce to cover it all. Remember, any excess sauce you're going to pour over the top of the beef, and then that'll create the juices for the gravy as well. So whole grain mustard, a couple of dobs in there, and it's trial and error this. So what we want to do is mix it to a paste, something similar to that, yeah? So we want a sticky paste similar to that. If you put too much mustard in, then just put a little bit more honey in. If you put too much honey in, then a little bit more mustard. They're not branded stuff, these, they're just your basic supermarket brands. It's pointless buying expensive just to burn in the oven, so it's just any cheap old brand, clear honey and French mustard. So what I've done now is I've opened my pack of beef, I've drained it, it's still in the string, wrapped up, and I've made it into a little envelope, aluminum foil, tin foil. It's sat in a little Pyrex jar. You can put it in your favourite baking tray, but the trick is that you have to create like a little pocket, because once we put the sauce on top of this, it's going to stick, and then we're going to close it up. So little tub to hold it in, whatever you use for baking your joint. Wrap it up in aluminum foil, and then what we're going to do is cover, let's see if you can see this, we're now going to cover the beef in the sauce that we've made. There's no simple way of doing it, just pour it on the top and allow it to slowly roll down on each side. Don't worry about any excess, because that's going to create the gravy. We can literally just pour it on, glazing all of the beef like that. Hope you can see. Smooth it around on the sides, make sure there's full coverage. Some of the whole grain will stick on top of the beef, and the honey will allow it to stick. So the effect we're looking for is that it's now glazed in honey and French mustard. There's a lot in the bottom, but that's going to mix with the juices and become the rich gravy. It's now all wrapped up in aluminum foil. I'll put it in a glass Pyrex dish. It's nice and sealed. I always cook beef for 2 hours on a high temperature, no matter what size joint you're using. That allows it to be a little bit pink in the middle, cooked around the edges. The reason why I've wrapped it up is I want all the flavour to keep within the beef, the French mustard, the sweet honey, and it's going to kind of steam and cook in its own little envelope, in its own little pocket. Glass lid on, in the oven on high for 2 hours exactly, but try and time it in order so it's still hot, ready for your seasonal veg. Right guys, 10 minutes to go. The beef's coming out of the oven in 10 minutes time. Then I'm going to show you what to do with the juices, and then show you what the beef looks like, the meat, after it's been cooked in this French mustard and sweet honey. Right, here it is, straight out the oven, our silver side piece of beef, glazed in honey and French mustard, the whole grain style. As you can see on the side, you've still got all the juices in there. This is what we're going to make our rich gravy with when the camera focuses. Obviously this is cooked now. We just need to let it rest and then we'll carve it later towards when the dinner is ready and cooked. Put that on there. And all these juices here obviously are going to go into this pan, and then we're going to make the rich gravy with that. However you make your gravy normally, whether you use a beef stock, a chicken stock, vegetable stock, the Knorr cubes, the Oxo, or even the granule style, this is going to be the flavour to whichever way you use that. So obviously put your juices into the pan, out of here, add your cube, your stock, whichever way you do it, then obviously just transfer it all into one pan and then bring it back up, get it on a hot heat, try and reduce it a little so it starts to thicken, and then obviously that's going to be ready to serve with your meal. That's it transferred to the pan. Like I say, there's only about half a pint there, but that's all the flavour. That's all the flavour from the beef. It's got the mustard in, it's got the honey in, and then you need to obviously add more liquid to this and then thicken it. So however you would do that normally in making your gravy, you're using these juices as your flavour, and then maybe a cube to thicken it up. Now for the Yorkshire puddings, 140 gram of plain flour, which is around, I think, 4.5 ounces of flour in metric or whichever way it is, 200 millilitres of milk, whichever milk you use, and 4 eggs, 4 big eggs. Now the knack to get it so it's smooth and you've got no lumps in it is you put the flour into the bowl, 140 gram of it, you then put your 4 eggs in and you then mix the egg and flour together with no milk. The egg then drags the flour around the bowl, getting it to a thick sticky paste with no lumps, and then slowly add your 200 millilitres of milk into there, and then it should be lump free like this. I've had a bit of parsley into the mixture along with a touch of salt and pepper for flavour, so these bits you see sat on the top there are exactly that. And 200 millilitres of milk along with 140 gram of flour and 4 eggs should give you just the right amount of mixture to do one of these trays. And like I say, you're left with that much there, minimum waste, because no one wants to put another round of Yorkshire puddings into the oven and then have to wait again for them to cook. For those who don't like mustard or honey that much, you have to remember that the majority of the slice is all beef, and then just around the edge, as you can see here, it's just that hint of honey and mustard. Just around the edge it is. And like I say, the juices which have come from this beef with the honey and mustard in makes the amazing flavoured gravy. It does, really nice. So I've added some more water to the stock which has come from the beef. Depending on how many you're catering for, how big your family is, then obviously you would need to add more water. This is just for 2 people this, and there'll be a lot of excess gravy left over. What I will do is add a stock cube to this to thicken it up. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's poured all over a meal. It's starting to thicken now actually, and that's prior to adding anything. Right guys, this is the end product. Like I say, all the juices which came off the meat, along with the honey and the mustard, we've added some stock to it, a thickener, and this is what your gravy should look like. It'll taste all the beef juices in that, and it'll have a nice sweet taste to it as well.